Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome. This is Dr. Vishal, the program director of the Nutritionist Entrepreneurship Program, and I welcome you guys to our NEP webinar series. And today's topic is going to be starting from zero, the ultimate guide to grow your practice super fast. Now, before I get started, I see that we have a house full today. Okay, so I see the room is full to capacity. We have 100 participants. So all those of you have joined in, I would encourage you to stay online because, if you log out or if you get logged out, there's a possibility that you may not be able to join back again, because there are a lot of people in the waiting room who are waiting to get in. Okay. So stay till the very end. In case you get logged off because you have joined in, don't worry, I'll share the recording of this webinar with you. Okay, not with everyone, but only for the people, you guys who have joined in. Just before getting started, I just wanted to check how many people here are joining an NEP webinar for the first time today. If you're seeing me for the first time, if you've never met me before, please raise your hand or just type FT in the chat box, FT, first time. Let me welcome the new members. So we have Masoom, Christilda, Rosie, Rajni, Sanjana, Preeti, Hema, Shumali, Beryl, Ziba, Sapna. Wow, Purvi, Surya. Gosh, I wasn't expecting so many first timers today. Thank you, folks, for joining. And for the benefit of you, I'll just give a quick introduction because you need to know why we are doing this. So NEP, the Nutrition Entrepreneur Program, is an organization that was founded by myself and my co-founder Tehzeeb 6 years ago. And this year we are celebrating the 6th anniversary, and that's why we are doing all these workshops. And the reason why we are doing this is because we want bright nutritionists like you who know your science well. We want to train you in business skills that you don't learn in college, so that you can earn more, you can work smart, work less, so that you can create a greater social impact for your community, for your clients, and most importantly, become financially independent. Okay, so this is actually the 5th webinar in the series of 6 webinars. The last one is going to happen on this Sunday, okay, at 11 a.m. And that's one is going to be about technology, but more about that later. So we offer a lot of programs. One of the programs, our flagship program, which happens twice a year. And the purpose of this program is in 6 weeks to train you in everything that you need to know about business. How do you launch, start, grow your practice? And this particular program has had 136 fellows across 38 countries and 38 cities and 10 countries. And this year, August 15th, we will be doing the 16th cycle of the program. Okay. And for those of you interested in knowing more about it, you can go to our website, mynep.org/NEP 6 weeks. Ashna, you can share the link in the chat. And you can go ahead and apply for the program. July 10th is going to be the last date. Okay. And besides this, we have a lot of programs on technology, on design. Okay. But more about that later. Okay. So let me quickly get to today's agenda, the reason why you guys are here today. So what are we going to learn today? So we're going to learn about what are the common myths that people have about starting your own practice. Okay. I know a lot of you in the audience here, would be freshers. All the freshers, type freshers in the chat box, fresher. And if you're looking to start your practice, go ahead, put in the chat box, and I'm looking to get started. So I see a lot of freshers here. Great. So freshers are often in doubt. Okay. So should I start my clinic or not? Where do I get the money from? Okay. So we're going to dispel a few common myths today. Second, I'm going to share with you a 5-step process. Okay. And for this particular thing, I want you guys to have your pen, paper, notepad ready. Because if you follow this 5-step process, this formula, I can guarantee you that you'll be able to get started smoothly. You'll be able to get clients. You'll be able to grow your practice effortlessly. Okay. But you have to follow this formula. And then we'll be talking a little bit about frugal innovation. So what do you mean by frugal innovation? A lot of times this people have this misconception that, with a lot of money, then I can innovate. Okay. But with very little resources, very little money, you will be able to build great things. Okay. So how do you do that? With zero investment, very little capital. And lastly, we have a few guests with us today, successful nutripreneurs who have made a name for themselves, who are doing amazing work, and they will be sharing their journeys. Okay, so we will have them for a panel discussion, and you'll get to know exactly how they build their practice. Okay, so a lot of learnings. And among this guest panel, we have three distinguished Nutripreneurs. I am sure you must be familiar with them. So we have Sana Shaikh. She's the founder of Health Tribe. She's based in Mumbai. We've got Richa Srivastava, who's the founder of Nutrospect. And we have Shiny Surendran, one of the leading sports nutritionists in India, and also the founder of Art of Eating. So Sana, Richa, and Shiny, thank you for being here. We eagerly look forward to it. Okay, so before I get started, I want to see some excitement from the group. All the first timers here, let me tell you, this is not like a regular webinar. Okay, this is not going to be like a boring monologue where I keep talking and you keep listening. So just make some noise. By noise, I mean hit some emojis, say some yay, come on, bring it on, say something, just raise the energy in the group. I'm waiting for you. Your hand should be on the keyboard. Okay, once I see a few emojis floating up, then I'm going to get started. Okay, first timers, come on. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, here we go. And lastly, if you stay till the very end, you're going to get a surprise, which of course is a surprise. So I won't tell you now what it is. Okay. So a quick question for you guys. Okay. Multiple choice, not an exam question, general knowledge question. Imagine you want to start your practice from scratch. What is the single most important thing that you need out of these four? Okay. Answer them. You need a brand name and a logo, or you need a website so that you can start attracting clients. You need a clinic, a physical clinic, or you need clients, patients. So which of these four do you think is the absolute most important essential thing that you need before you start your practice? Client, 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 client. Somebody says brand name. Okay, most of you are saying client. Okay, bingo. Bang on. Okay, that's the right answer. Okay, the common misconception people are that, oh, unless I have a brand name, unless I have a logo, I can't start my practice, I can't see patients. So that's a myth. But then how do you get a client without having any of these? Okay, so that's what you're going to learn today. So here it comes. So firstly, the 5 commonest myths or misconceptions that people have about starting up. The first myth that people have is, I need a brand name, I need a logo before I can get clients. If you look back, say maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? A lot of our senior dietitians who have gotten very well established, who have built their entire careers over decades. If you go and speak to them, many of them don't have brands. They never had a logo. They never had a website. Okay. So yet they were able to build a practice. Now you need a brand name, logo, because the competition is a whole lot and you need to differentiate yourself, but it's not absolutely essential. So then what do you need? Number one and most important thing is you need to know how to solve somebody's problem. People are out there, with a whole bunch of problems. India is the diabetes capital of the world. People are dealing with obesity, right? PCOS. So people have problems and they're looking for solutions. And if you have a solution to a problem, even without having a brand name, you will be able to attract clients. Okay. The local cobbler that you go to in order to get your shoe fixed, that cobbler doesn't have a brand, right? Doesn't have a logo, doesn't have a banner as well, but it's right there. And you know what he does, and you can go and get your work done. Okay. So not absolutely essential. It's beneficial, especially if you're in a crowded metropolitan city like Mumbai. It will be helpful to have a brand name or a logo, but not the cutting edge. So my advice to all the young people, don't waste a lot of time right now just building your company. Just get started. Just get started. Even with your name, even with your personal identity, if you just put a message out there on social media, on WhatsApp, okay, announcing to people that you are there to solve people's problem, people are still going to come to you. Okay. Next, I need a clinic before I can get clients. You guys agree this is true? No. Okay. In fact, getting a clinic before you actually get clients is like putting the cart before the horse. It's the horse that's going to pull the cart, not vice versa. And this is something that I speak from my personal experience as a doctor. In 2012, when I had returned from the US, I wanted to start a clinic. I started my clinic by the name Vishwas in a suburb of Mumbai, and I wanted to make it more like a wellness center. So I had this beautiful clinic with orange light furniture, playing some nice soothing music, aromatic candles. We had a doctor, we had a nutritionist, we had a psychotherapist, physiotherapist, all working as a team. And yet, for the first 6 months, I struggled a lot. I realized that, it was patients were not coming to my clinic. Okay. Why? Because patients did not know me. They did not trust me enough. They were not really impressed by the fancy clinic as such. So when did patients start coming to me? When I started going into the community, when I started giving talks, when I started conducting health fairs. Okay, I started networking with the local community leaders. That's when I realized, what, after building this trust, now patients want to come to my clinic. So my advice to all the young people out here, okay, if you don't have enough money right now to start your own clinic, it's okay. Don't rent out a space. In fact, one of our NEP fellows, after graduating, she was very keen on starting a clinic, and she actually found a place, was about to sign the lease. She was about to hire a couple of people, and then when I spoke to her, I did the math, and she was going to be spending 50,000 a month, 50,000 a month for the clinic, for the receptionist and all that, for the branding and all that extra. And I advised her. I said, don't do this right now. Next 6 months, just go out in the community, give talks, collaborate with the Lions Club, Rotary clubs, community organizations, right? Start seeing patients online. Thankfully, because of COVID, one good thing that has happened is that patients have now gotten comfortable with online consultations. So even if you have just Zoom and if you're able to do an online consultation, patients will still come to you. And only when you clock a revenue of about, say, 30, 40,000 a month, and if you have enough money to pay for the rent, then you can think of having a clinic. Okay, but not the first thing when you get started. Next, I need a fancy website in order to attract a client. Again, no, strict no. And again, this is something that I learned from my own mistakes. So what if not a website, then how do you attract a client? So all you need if you want to attract clients is a very strong value proposition. Value proposition is a business term. I'll simplify it for you. Value proposition means promise of a value, that you can solve a problem, something better than what anybody else can do. Okay. And a call to action. And if you're able to create a very beautiful message around that, people will be attracted to you. So how did I learn this? From my own experience. So around 2015, I had launched a program called the Impact 6 Weeks Wellness Challenge. And I spent almost 3 months creating a website, a beautiful website, spent a lot of money, hours, right? And then I was thinking, how do I optimize the website? How do I get traffic? And then, I attended one business webinar by a coach who actually taught that, without a website, how can you generate leads? How can you target people, And I love that idea. I said, let me try it out. So all that I did was I created a simple post for WhatsApp on Canva with just one message and one picture. Okay. In fact, I created 3 posts. I shared one post on day 1, second one, day 2, third on day 3. And along with the post, I had one Google form. If you are interested, sign up. Okay. And I circulated that. And within 3 days, I was able to get 500 leads, 500 people interested in joining the program. Not all of them ended up joining, but later on we filtered them, we did some calls and all that. And out of that, 25 people ended up joining the program. But in the whole process, not once did they go to my website. Even without a website, I was able to close that. So how was I able to do it and why? Because the message was really powerful. Okay. The value proposition was very powerful. So I'll just share with you what I did. So the message went something like that: eat more, exercise less, and lose weight. Is this even possible? It was a hook. Okay. The second day, the message went like this: For all those of you who hate gyms, there is an alternative to getting fit. Okay. So such, I use some, once I identified the pain points of people, I crafted messages around that and I was able to attract a lot of people. So you guys can do the same. Okay. So more than having a website, if you are good at copywriting, if you're good with designing beautiful creatives, right, which can catch people's attention, you can get a lot of clients, right? And it's changing nowadays the world. Do you know how many people are running businesses only from Instagram? I know a lady who's making dream catchers. Dream catchers, a beautiful thing. And she's doing business of around 5 to 8 lakh a month. And she doesn't have a website. Only on Instagram. Only on Instagram, she's getting people, they are signing up, sending her inquiries, right? Yeah. So we are living in very different times. Next, I need a lot of money to start my business. Okay. Well, this is true if you are doing something high tech. Okay. If you want to build an electric car or you want to launch a restaurant, okay, which needs a physical resource and asset, right? In that case, you need to invest money. I totally understand. But most of you being nutrition and dietitian, right? You just have to consult. So your resource is basically your communication skills. How do you motivate your clients or the diet plan? So all you need is LinkedIn profile, your Facebook profile, your Instagram, all of which are free. Canva, a software which allows you to design beautiful posts, attract people's attention, and then you can start generating money, right? Before COVID, my co-founder, Tehzeeb, when she started off several years ago, she used to see clients in coffee shops. Okay. And then after a couple of years, then she ended up having her own clinic, right? So you can start with zero capital if you know how to solve a pain point. Okay. And if you have zeroed in on that, people will definitely come to you. And lastly, okay, the commonest myth that people have is that I need to go to business school in order to learn business. All the leading entrepreneurs out there, the ones who have built billion-dollar companies, right? Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. Forget about business school. They did not even go to college. They all dropped out in the first year of the college. Okay. So MBA, by the way, right? I mean, with due respect to all the MBAs, MBA stands for Masters of Business Administration. Business Administration. Okay. So when a business is already ready and when you want to manage the business, that's when you need an MBA. MBA doesn't really teach you how to build a business from scratch. MBA doesn't teach you how to do jugaad. MBA doesn't prepare you to become an entrepreneur. Okay. So even without going to MBA, management school, you can still learn about business from other entrepreneurs. Okay. So I learned a little bit about management when I was in the US, but when I came to India, the first 3 or 4 years, I did very bad, right? I lost a lot of money. And that's when I was lucky to get inducted into this community of entrepreneurs known as the Startup Leadership Program. And that's where I worked with about 20 entrepreneurs and all of them from diverse fields. And the amount of knowledge that I got observing other entrepreneurs, that was like phenomenal. And the following year, I ended up mentoring some startup entrepreneurs. And then 2016, we created a community, the Nutritionist Entrepreneurship Program. So who's a nutritionist who's also an entrepreneur? Nutritionist plus entrepreneur is equal to what? Fill in the blank. Put it down in the chat right now. This is something you should all know. Nutritionist plus entrepreneur is equal to nutripreneur. Yay, absolutely. Okay. Okay. And this is what I want you guys to develop, the mindset of a nutrition entrepreneur or a nutripreneur. Even though you haven't gone to business school, okay, you can still call yourself an entrepreneur. There's a beautiful saying is that an entrepreneur is one who sees what everybody else has seen, but who thinks and does what nobody else has. I'll repeat that. An entrepreneur is one who sees what everybody else has seen, but who thinks and does what nobody else has. And if you guys have that capacity in you, if you love solving problems for people, okay, whatever that problem may be, If you find a client who is like not a good cook, and then their kitchen is messy, and if you feel, you know what, I can solve that problem, I can create a better way to manage the kitchen, or I know how to write some interesting recipes, out of leftover foods, right? And if you're capable of doing something which other people are not, if you have this innovative mindsets, you have it in you to be an entrepreneur. And NEP is actually a community that we have created for nutrition entrepreneurs. And this is where we fill in the blank, all the things that we have not learned in college, right? You learn it here in NEP through our webinar, through our workshop, through our programs. Okay. So having set the stage now, now I'm going to talk about the 5-step process for starting up. Okay. So what's that 5-step process? Okay. And so this is applicable for young entrepreneurs, nutripreneurs who are just starting off. It could also be applicable for a senior nutritionist, an established nutripreneur. If you want to launch a new product or a service, the same method, the same formula applies. Okay. It doesn't matter what stage of the career you at. You may be young, fresher, senior, middle-aged, doesn't matter. So what's this 5-step process? The first step in the process is to identify your niche or your micro niche. Okay. Earlier it used to be niche. Now we talk about micro niche. So what do you mean by niche? Niches means your specialty, something that you feel, oh, this is my core expertise. This is what I do really, really well. Okay. Now, just let me ask you this question. Okay. So if you think you are suffering from, let's say you want to run a Facebook ad. Okay. You want to run a Facebook ad. And you come across two coaches, and one coach tells you that I teach digital marketing, where I'll cover everything from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and etc., etc. And then another coach is going to tell you, I teach you how to create a Facebook ad in 2 hours. Okay, and run it and get 100 leads in the first day itself. Who are you going to go to, first or second? Type in the chat box, let me know. Second, right? Most of you are saying second. In fact, the first one may seem more knowledgeable, right? Oh, he does everything. He knows everything about digital marketing. But yet you may not want to go to that person, okay? But somebody who's solving your problem and is identifying a very peculiar or micro niche is more attractive to you. And that's why, it's also happening, even in the medical field, right? When people have serious conditions, they want to go to a specialist or a super specialist. And similarly, earlier 10, 20 years ago, nutritionists used to do everything. Even now you can do everything, right? But when you are actually presenting yourself to the community, if you position yourself, oh, I am a diabetes expert, or I am a PCOS expert, or I am somebody who focuses on mindful eating, or I am a sports nutritionist, versus somebody who says, I am a sports nutritionist only for boxers or only for marathon runners, right? So that's a micro niche. That's going to make you more attractive to your prospective client. Now, for those of you who have not figured out your micro niche, let me tell you how to do it. Okay. So there are 4 questions that you're going to ask yourself. 4 questions. Note this down. The first question that you're going to ask yourself is, what are you really good at? What is it that is your core expertise? Okay. You're most knowledgeable about that subject as of today. Okay. Second, what are you most passionate about? What is close to your heart? What do you enjoy doing? What gives you so much joy when you do that even if you're not rewarded monetarily, you're still happy doing that? Okay, it's your art. Third, you're going to ask yourself what the world needs, okay, or your community, or is there a problem out there, right, which is existing and nobody is solving it, which you are able to solve. And then the 4th question, also very relevant, is what will pay you well? Okay. Now, if you choose 1, 2, 3, but if it doesn't pay you well, right, then it becomes a hobby. You're not really, it doesn't become a profession or a vocation. Now, when you have all the 4 check marks, that is something called as a sweet spot. And this is a concept in Japanese. Does anybody can relate to it? Have you read this book which talks about this concept? One word I'm looking for. What is that one word in Japanese which explains this? And that sweet spot is like that your like the purpose of your life. Yes, ikigai, ikigai, ikigai. Super. Why? You guys are really well read. Bingo. Okay. So do some soul searching. Okay. And this is something that you will not come to you like overnight. You'll have to go to some beach or Himalaya, sit somewhere, meditate, and go with your journal, take notes, ask yourself difficult questions, and you will find your ikigai. And once you do that, your ikigai can be your micro niche. For me, my ikigai was, and I discovered when I was 20. My ikigai was inspiring and motivating people and helping them realize the best in themselves. That's what gives me the most joy. For a long time, this gave me a lot of satisfaction. Did not pay me a lot well. Now it is paying well after all these years. But what I'm doing at NEP or my physician leadership program or my impact program, I am living my ikigai. I'm living the purpose of my life. Okay. How did I discover? I was 20, after finishing medical college, I was stuck. I spent 1 week just in a room thinking, and asking myself, what was that one thing that gave me so much joy that even if I was not monetarily rewarded for it, I'll be still happy doing it. Okay. So do this activity. Okay. Maybe I'll do another workshop on just this particular thing. How do you find your micro niche? Okay. Next. So once you have identified your micro niche, the next step is you have to let the world know. Okay. And just telling them, hey, this is my micro niche is not going to work. You have to position yourself as an expert in that micro niche. Now, expertise does not necessarily mean 10 or 20 years of experience. Okay. Expertise means that you know more about that subject than your target audience. If you know more than your subject or your client, then you're qualified. You can call yourself an expert for them. You may not be the most famous expert in the world on that subject matter, but that's okay, right? So all the young people here, I don't want you to go with that mindset. You know what, but I'm not an expert. I'm still not an expert, right? No, you can start off wherever you are. So the first thing that you need to do is preferably is get some training and certification if you can in that subject. And thankfully, today, the world that we live in, there are so many online courses. Diabetes, you'll find like half a dozen courses. Sports nutrition, later on, Shiny is going to be on the panel. She'll be happy to share with you. There are so many programs that are being offered, there's one coming up very soon. Okay. And there is this course on holistic nutrition that's been offered. There's a community in South India that's a part of it, right? In fact, all over India, people are participating in it, done by Dr. Suresh. And then at NEP, we have a lot of programs that you can take up, right? Richa is offering a program on counseling, behavioral science for nutritionists, right? So there are so many experts or coaches out there from whom you can learn. So get some training, get some certification. Next is to get noticed, write something about it. Start writing articles or blogs, okay? And if you get lucky, if you get noticed by the newspaper, if something gets published, that gives you credibility, that gives you authority. Okay, you look at all the people out there, famous people, they all write regularly. Okay, right? You'll see their columns in newspapers. Okay, so even if a newspaper is not publishing you, it's okay. Publish it on your own website, create a blog, keep writing. If writing is not your thing, and if you are more comfortable making reels or videos or short videos, do that. Okay. And the world that we live in today is that of edutainment. Okay. Just educating your customers or clients is not important. Just entertaining is also not important. Education and entertainment, when they come together, edutainment is fun and you will get noticed. You will find on Instagram, there are so many coaches. There are financial coaches, there are relationship coaches, right? There are insurance advisors, right? So there are people who are giving reviews for cars. But then what you're seeing now is that people are getting more and more creative by ways in which they are putting out information out there. Okay. So with music and with reels and with some special effect, with some storytelling, you can really get noticed. And what could be better than having like a few thousand followers on Instagram, right? That itself is social proof that you are an expert on that topic. But pick up one niche, pick up one micro niche and just keep hitting on that, okay, till you attract attention. And once you start seeing clients, okay, once you start seeing, showing results, keep collecting your success stories, keep highlighting these case studies and publish these stories on your blog, on your website, on the reels, wherever you do it. Okay. And this is how you can start growing as an expert. Okay. It will not happen overnight. It might not happen in maybe 1 or 2 months, but in 6 months, yes, it's possible. If you are committed, if you are consistent for 6 months, you can easily build a following of about 5 to 10,000 people on social media. Next, very important, and this is one step which a lot of people forget or they completely ignore. You got to build your community. You got to build your tribe. Okay. So you are a leader of a tribe. Imagine. Go back to the Stone Ages. Go back to the Stone Ages. In Stone Ages, what did we have, right? We had a tribal leader. We had that Kabile ka leader, used to wear that thing on his head, and everybody should listen to that person. And that person should give an order, and everybody used to follow. So throughout history, we have had leaders. Okay. Now, you may not be a leader in that traditional sense, but the moment you create a community around your purpose, people will start listening to you. So how does this community look like in the digital world? So this community could be a Facebook page or a Facebook group. Okay. So our NEP Facebook page has about 14,000 followers. Okay. Now, whenever I have to put a message, it's so easy for me to reach out to people. Okay. Group is more personal, there where people can also talk and they can share, right? So there are a lot of support groups. There are these groups which are curated by community members. Okay. Create one today itself around a topic. Okay. And start adding people and let them talk. Let them start talking to each other. On WhatsApp. So at NEP, the other day I took a count. We have about 18 WhatsApp groups. We have a group of Lit 30, Design Masters Challenge. We have Freedom Pass Season 1, 2, 3. We have got NIS 2020. We have NIS 2021. We've got Enlight. And some of you guys, right, you are joining this webinar today because, except for the new members, you're a member of one or the other communities, right? And because you are in that community, it's easy for me to reach out to you. Whenever I announce or do a webinar, all I have to do is post a message in the WhatsApp group, and you guys sign up. So right from now, for all your clients, create a WhatsApp group. And what are you going to do in that group? I'll tell you in the next step. Okay. Just creating a group is not enough. You got to engage with them as well. If you have a website, Wix has a MySpaces app, Wix Spaces app, where you can have your own personal mobile app where you can engage with people. You can send them announcements and notifications. Even a mailing list or a blog can have followers, but this kind of thing is more of one-way communication, right? Where you are sending them messages, they may or may not reply to you. Okay. It's not very dynamic, but still it's important that you have them. And then even offline, right? When you give talks, when you conduct workshops, okay, you are in a way building your community. Before all this Facebook, social media and all that, people only had in-person communities. There used to be meetups. There was actually a website called meetup.com. And this website had groups. There was a poetry club. There was some adventure club, right? And each club had like hundreds of members, thousands of members sometimes. And they used to have events. Okay. So likewise, for your clients, can you build a community out of them? Now, every community is special. And a community is powerful. For a community to actually be successful, there are 3 P's that are needed. Now, this is not in the slides, so note it down. 3 P's. Okay. And Ashna, you can just type it for me, please. 3 P's. What are the 3 P's? The first P is people. Without people, there cannot be a community. Okay. The second P is the platform. Okay. By platform, what you see right now, these are platforms. Okay. Facebook is a platform. WhatsApp is a platform. Your in-person meeting is a platform. Okay. And the third, purpose. Purpose. Why is the community coming together? Okay. So people, platform, and purpose. Unless we have all 3, the community is not going to be formed. Okay. And if you need to give your community members an identity that they swear by, identity that makes them strongly emotionally attached to the community. I'll give you a few examples. So all our NEP community members, okay, they call themselves NEPians. Now, I did not coin that word. I did not ask them to call themselves. They started calling themselves NEPians, okay, because they It's a part of the identity. My Lit 30 program, so there the participants call themselves Litians. We are Litians. The impact program that I run for people who want to lose weight, get fit, so there people call themselves impactors. Okay, so we are all impactors. So you can give your community a name. Don't call your clients clients. Call them community members, call them family, or make up a name for them. Okay, and they'll feel special about being a part of the community. So I'm going to have a quick recap. So what was step one? What do you do? Let's see if you're following me. What was step one? What do you do? Type in the chat box. Yeah, so identify your micro niche. Second, what do you do? Okay, so identify your micro niche, position yourself as an expert. Okay, and the third is right here, build a community. Okay, so now that you have built a community, next thing, very important, is you have to build trust. Okay, you are the leader. Your community members should believe in you. They should trust you. They are entrusting you with their health. They're giving you responsibility, right? So how do you build trust? And this is, I would say, the most important, probably the slightly difficult phase, which requires patience. And if you bypass this step, if you skip this step entirely, your community will disintegrate. Okay. So how do you build trust? The easiest way to build trust is to start offering them something of value for free. Okay. Don't be greedy, or don't be like eager to start selling to them right away. This is one thing I've noticed. Sometimes you sign up for some newsletter, right? You find some digital marketing coach, and then every day they start sending you spam. Oh, attend my workshop, 500 rupees, attend my workshop, 500 rupees, join this program, sale, 50% off, right? What are you going to do? Unsubscribe, right? Okay. So don't be in a hurry to sell to them. Build some trust, spend some time with them. Okay. Get to know them. Let them get to know you. So offer them something of value for free. Okay. This webinar is being offered to you for free, right? You're getting some value out of it. Okay. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to build trust with you, especially the new members. A lot of you already know me for so many years, but the new people, I want to build a relationship with you. Okay. So let them get to know you. Be authentic. Okay. Don't try to be someone whom you're not. Don't try to be that AquaGuard salesman who comes knocking on the door and says, sir, please, please buy, please buy, please buy. Best offer. No, please don't do that. Okay. Don't try to imitate what other people are doing. I know some people who attend webinars by some digital coaches. They copy the script and they come and they replicate the script entirely as it is. That's not you. You don't have to copy somebody else. I mean, people will see through that. Okay. So see, I have a personality, right? So I am a little bit fun loving. I like cracking jokes. I like teasing my community members every now and then. Some people who know me well, they know that I aspire to be a stand-up comedian someday, a long way to go. But whenever I come in my webinars, I don't carry a mask, or I don't have any pretense about myself. So whatever I am, I just show it to the community. Okay. So if your personality is, if you're serious, if you are more structured, formatted, that's okay. Just be yourself. Okay. And if you are a little bit of the wacky kind, right? Just be that. You will attract your kind of people. The people who like you will come to you. And those who cannot relate to you, you don't need them, because they are not going to be your clients anyways. Right? Makes sense? Makes sense? And third is, you got to be consistent. Okay. So once you've decided like what style you're going to have, what kind of pitch you're going to offer to your clients, or what is going to be your personality, just be consistent with that. Okay. Keep doing it repeatedly over and over and over again. Right? It took us a lot of time to get here. 6 years. In 6 years, I must have conducted more than 300 plus webinars, right? And with every webinar, I learned a lot from the community. I learned about the problems of nutritionists, right? And I would go back to the drawing board, create something new, and then offer that. But the moment you go off the radar, the moment you disappear, your audience will forget you. Out of mind, out of sight is out of mind. Out of sight is out of mind. Okay. And if you have disappeared for 6 months, don't send a sorry message to your clients. Sorry, I was out of action for 6 months, but I am back. In fact, by telling that, they will now notice that you were out of you were out of action. People don't notice because people have so many things to do. There's so many things happening. People don't care. Okay. So just be consistent, and how often, that's for you to decide. Once a week, daily, okay, or twice a week. But whatever it announce to your community members, tell them, okay, this is what I'll be offering you. Once a month, I'll be coming for a live session, Q&A, ask me anything. Okay. Or have a WhatsApp group for them. And even if you're not doing live events, every Monday, send them some good information or tip, something of value. Okay. And finally, once you have done this, step 4, and this will take you anywhere between 3 to 6 months, then comes the last step, okay, where you convert them to clients, okay, or paying customers. Now, sometimes it's possible that your clients, in your first meeting itself or in your first interaction, they start trusting you. And that depends on your skill. And if that happens, fantastic. That doesn't mean you have to wait for 3 months or 6 months, right? If on the first meeting itself, they're willing to buy into your product services, go ahead, sell to them. So if you want to convert your client, then what you do is you got to create some offers, compelling offers. Okay, one way of doing it is you just have a price list or a menu of offerings and just tell them, right? And that will also work. If you are not into giving offers, that's also completely fine. Once you have established yourself at a certain level, once you're an expert, okay, then you probably don't need offers. In fact, giving offers and discounts will undervalue yourself. Okay. But early on in your career, right, when trust is low or people are just beginning to trust you, having a good offer is actually going to entice your clients. I've spoken a lot more about offers in some of my other webinars on how do you create a wow experience. In fact, the technology webinar that I'll be doing this Sunday, how do you create a wow experience, I'll be getting deeper into this topic on offers. Yeah, offer them a wow experience, okay? Not just a good, not a great, but a wow. Because only when they are wowed by you, they are going to refer their friends and relatives to you. And what is that formula for creating wow? NEP fellows, please don't answer this question. You know that. And I also taught this in the last webinar. So those of you know the answer, don't let the new people guess. Go ahead, guess, take a guess. What's that formula? What's the one thing that you can do to create a wow experience for the clients? Go ahead, type in the chat box. If you want to wow your clients, if you want them to keep coming back to you, not only that, if you want them to refer their friends and relatives to you, what is wow? How do you wow them? So Juveria says best results. Hema says meet the expectations of the clients. Okay. Preeti says under promise and over deliver. Great. Thank you guys. Great answers. Preeti, you are bang on. Brilliant. That's the answer that I was looking for. Not only meet their expectations, go beyond their expectations. Okay. You promise less and you deliver more. Give them surprises, something that they are not expecting. Okay. I'll give you a simple example. Like, Zomato does it all the time. So when you book a delivery on Zomato, a food delivery, it will tell you delivery time is 45 minutes. And let's say the food get delivered in 20 minutes. Don't they tell you, is there a pop-up? Oh, congratulations, great. Your order was delivered before time. Highlighted, right? It tells you how much money you have saved. Congratulations, you have saved so much amount. It doesn't tell you how much you have spent. It talks about spending, saving. So there are little things that you can do in order to create a wow experience for your clients. Last week, I conducted a 3-hour workshop for 20 entrepreneurs only on this topic. Only on creating wow experiences, I spoke for 3 hours. That's how much in depth you can go to. Okay. So hopefully one day I would want to conduct the same workshop for you as well. In fact, the technology workshop is going to have some components of that as well. The one that I'm going to do on Sunday. So promise less, deliver more. Remember. And lastly, remember this idiom: success attracts success. Okay. When you have your initial success, build on that. Use a case study. Okay. show it to people, and then more people will come to you. Okay, and this is where you have to be a little bit shameless. You can't afford to be shy and humble, right? Entrepreneurs have to be flamboyant. They have to keep talking about the work that they are doing. And if you have if you're featured in a media, your article gets published, or you get invited for a interview, the information about that has to go on your Facebook, Instagram, website, everywhere. Okay, because only when you do that are more people going to invite you to do the same kind of work. Okay, so success attracts success, remember. So great. So these are the 5 processes, 5 steps that you need to follow. And if you follow that, success is guaranteed. Okay, and there are no shortcuts to success. So I have just summarized them. So number 1, identify your micro niche. Number 2, position yourself as an expert. Number 3, build your community, become a tribal leader for your community. Okay, and your community should be driven by a sense of purpose. Build trust. Okay, and building trust can take some time, so you got to be patient. You got to give them a lot of free value upfront initially to build trust. And then only once you feel that, okay, your clients have started trusting you, do you start converting them to your clients. Never, never, never start your relationship by giving them an offer or immediately trying to sell them. Okay, so whenever you acquire a new lead, somebody joins your mailing list, don't start bombarding them with emails about buy my program, offer, discount. No, don't get into that. Okay, if you have a broadcast list, don't keep sending them promotional messages every day. Okay, there is this sort of a unsaid rule, 5:1. So for every 5 value messages that you send out, 1 promotional message. Okay, 5 value, 1 promotional, that is fine. That should be the kind of a ratio that you should have. Okay, if for those of you who wish to take a screenshot, uh, just go ahead, take a screenshot. Wait a second, I'll post for that. Okay, I'll pose along with that. Go, take a screenshot. Okay. All right, all right, all right. So great. So now that we have covered the framework, now is the time to actually see how these wonderful entrepreneurs, nutripreneurs have actually put it to practice. Okay. So this is going to be the exciting part, because you'll get to hear from them, their journeys and their success stories. And I would love to hear from them if they consciously, subconsciously ended up following the same process. Okay. So Sana, let me quickly introduce to you. So Sana, so firstly, Shiny, Surendran, I'm sure many of you are familiar with one of the leading sports nutritionists in India, and wonderful, wonderful person, and so proud to have her as a member of our NEP community. And one of so Shiny recently created a brand called Art of Eating, and one of the things that makes her so popular, that she's so passionate even about teaching and giving back to the community, right? Wealth of information. So Shiny, welcome. uh, Ashna, can you put everybody in the spotlight as I speak, including myself, if you can? Please do that. Yeah, can you please put Shiny in the spotlight along with me? Yeah. And then we got Richa Srivastava. Richa is based out of Delhi, NCR, and she's a clinical nutritionist, gold medalist from her university days. She's won the Nutripreneur of the Year award for the most outstanding community service to the NEP community, and she has created a program for autism. For nutritionists who see autism patients, okay, called the Autism Aware Nutritionist, and another program on motivational and behavioral counseling. So, Richa, great to have you here. And then we have Sana Shaikh. So Sana is relatively one of the younger nutripreneurs from our NEP community, and she holds a distinction for having done every single program that NEP has offered so far, except for the flagship program. And she wanted to do it this fall, but she's now leaving for Canada because she's gotten accepted into a university. And so Sana has been doing a lot of cool things, and recently she launched a 21-day challenge for her community members, and she had 100 plus participants. So she's always up to something cool and innovative. So thought would be great to have her as well and share her experiences. Okay, so I have a surprise for you guys. for the end, so please stay, hold on. And I'm keeping a watch on the count, and I see there are still 100 people. We started with 100 and not a single person has left. So thank you guys. Okay. So hi Shiny, hi Richa, hi Sana. Are you able to
Hi,
unmute?
Doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here.
Great.
Thank
So, so what we'll do, we have like plenty of time, half an hour. And guys, if you have questions, audience, please put them in the chat box. We'll take all the questions. So, question for you. First, I'll start with Shiny. Okay. So, what Shiny? How was it like when you started your practice? Okay. I don't know how many years ago that was, but how were your first 6 months, or how was your first year? And did you end up following a process like this, or anything similar to that, or maybe something totally unlike this? Would happy to hear from you.
Okay. There was no plan as such. It's just that I wanted to be somebody and make a mark in the industry. And sports nutrition is what I had chosen. But what I also understood was like, you don't get a job in a hospital. And this is way back in 99. And that's when I realized you need to work in YMCA or some sports academy where a lot of these athletes come. So that's how it started. And then later I also realized that fitness centers were the places where athletes you come every single day. And back then, a lot of dietitians would join hospitals or else they'll become academicians. And dietitians who worked in fitness centers were not respected.
Mm.
So there was a stigma around fitness centers. It's a place where bodybuilders would hang out and that kind of a situation, but that is where my clients would come. So where else do I go, right? So I chose to go to this kind of a place and then work, but then the learning experience was great. 2013 is when I started my private practice full-fledged, but way back I was also doing part-time. So 3 days in a week I was working in a university, and then the private practice also was there. So there wasn't any structured plan. And at that point, social media was not this big at all. And then a lot of insecurities about myself, fear, wondering how I would navigate through all of this. So I used to take one step at a time, but then consistency is what has helped. When I look back, there were a lot of free work that I had done. People would call for lectures in academies, ask for radio shows, all India radio, and some random person would say, there is an opportunity, but it's tomorrow morning. Are you ready? So then sit through the night and then jot down points, and then also ask people who've been on television or radio how to face the camera, because I was extremely scared of facing the camera or even getting on a radio show. But then all that free work really helped. That's where the visibility came. So I think as a fresher, the best would be to actually go ahead and take up any project that comes the way. Sometimes the money won't be there, but somehow it builds, and it really starts helping. The tipping point will be there. It will start. Gladwell's book is there, Tipping Point, where it's very clearly, beautifully written how you give around 10,000 work hours. And then eventually you don't need to be introducing yourself. People will know who you are.
Wonderful. So Shiny, I'd love to ask you more about what was your tipping point, but I'll save that question for later, because let me hear from Richa and Sana. How was their experience like starting up? So Richa, you want to go next? Thank you.
Again, it was long back. Actually, I did my MSc in 2002. I completed my MSc post that internship. So back then, again, social media was not as huge as it is now. And people did not used to know actually what a dietitian is supposed to do. Even in a hospital setting, people used to think of dietitians as someone from the catering, who would be coming and asking how the food is. Did you like the taste? What kind of cuisine do you like? So this was the general perception. So definitely clinical nutrition was one of my keen interest area. I was placed into the ICU and ICCU, and over there, doctors used to ask me, what are you gonna do over here? I said, I'll be framing the nutrition plan for the patient. How will you do that? That is our job. I used to clearly tell them, the residents over there, no, doctor, it is my job. let me do it. So there was a pace off right from the very beginning. I was very, very clear that this is my area of expertise. I never thought of myself as a person who has to work under a doctor for nutrition. I knew that I have studied nutrition well. I knew that I am good at this. So from the very beginning, I knew that nutrition is my expertise. Doctor is there, he can validate, he can go through, he can suggest, but ultimately the nutrition prescription has to come from me. So that is how the things began to change for me. And I worked in the hospital setting for a very, very long time. But as we go and progress, we tend to, have a lot of disparity and differences between the senior nutritionist and a junior nutritionist coming and saying, no, ma'am, we don't have to do it this way. We'll do it the other way around. So a lot of face-offs used to happen. And ultimately, I decided that this is probably not the best way for me to work. So I chose to work as consultants. I chose up consultancy projects with the hospitals, with the research settings, with the product companies. So that is how I shifted from full-time job into the hospital to more of an independent practitioner. And finally, I landed up doing NEP in 2019. And after that, I launched my brand and things changed after that, definitely.
Great. So I'm seeing sort of commonality with Shiny and Richa's journey. Shiny's journey went through the fitness center. You all went to the hospital.
Yeah.
And two places where unfortunately nutritionists don't get a lot of respect. Okay. And one place the conflict is with the the fitness trainer, and over here the doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sana, I'm going to move to you. So Sana, you are from this, I would say, Generation X or millennial, I don't know where, but you're probably in the digital first generation where you, I think, were familiar with social media even before you started your practice. So how was your journey like?
Okay, so basically, I was more into the preventive care. I really did not like working in a hospital setup. So I did my internship somehow in the hospital for 3 months. Post that, I joined an endocrine crime clinic. So where I was working under Dr. Amay Joshi. He is like a very big doctor here. So I was working with him. So I came under a lot of patients like for diabetes, PCOS, thyroid. So it was all hormonal part, and I was really enjoying it. It was like a comfort job for 5 years straight. I did not do anything else. That was a very big mistake that I realized it now. So basically, I should have ventured out a bit. What I was doing is I was just sitting in a clinic and just seeing patients. I did not actually do anything else out of it. Okay, I took up a lot of certifications in that moment. I did my MSc also with that, but then I did not actually do anything else. So then what happened is I was very keen in learning. So I started watching all your programs, your Freedom Pass and stuff like that. And that's when it hit me that no, I should do something of like this on my own. So what I did basically in 2020 when the COVID hit, so I was not working in the clinic anymore, everything was shut. I was doing online consultations for his patients. And then I realized that when I can do it for his patient, I can as well do it for my patients and I can create something on my own. And that's when I did Lit 30, DMC, and everything and started my own program uh, under the Health Tribe. So, first it was Aura Slim, which I got like just randomly. Then Sir told me that Aura Slim is a very weird name, try doing something else. That's when I started with the Health Tribe, and it went really amazing. Like I started it on May 21st, 2020. And the first thing what I did was 21 days challenge. I collaborated with a lot of trainers, and it was like a 21 days program. I started with 1,000 per patient, like the cost, and actually 30 people joined in. It was a first thing for myself. So I was very excited, and it was a big achievement for me that time. So it started, then it went, then I started creating reels and everything. I was a big camera shy person, so starting something on like the videos and stuff was very difficult. I was writing blogs and everything, so that was very comfort zone for me. But then the videos came in, Then I started. So there was one your video, sir, which on YouTube and everything, that made me little like, no, I should start doing this now. So then I came on Instagram, and that's when everything changed. I got like, I literally see 10 to 15 patients in a day now. Things have increased. And that is when the last thing which I did, so I got 100 participants in that 21 days challenge thing. So now everything is good, thanks to you. I really, you are the mentor for me, and everything started with you, so thank you.
Pleasure. Really, really proud of you, Sana.
Thank
I
you.
mean, and you were so sincere, dedicated, and you had the courage, and you turned I think the COVID to your benefit. I think that was a blessing in disguise for you. Quickly, I'm not going to ask you how much you earn right now, how much you've earned at your peak, but if you could just tell me a factor, like a multiple, like how much you were earning when you were working a job, and how much you were able to earn when you were working as an entrepreneur. Just
So
give me
it
the
was
multiple.
1/4, and now it is like a whole. So I was earning 25,
Okay.
around 25, and now it is 1 lakh plus.
Wow. Brilliant. Brilliant. And guys, so this is possible. Okay. I don't want to see anybody complaining that nutrition doesn't pay well. Nutrition jobs don't pay well. Okay. Nutrition jobs don't. But as an entrepreneur, there is no limit. Okay. And Sana has just gotten started. There's a long way. And I totally believe that she has great potential in her, and she'll be doing much, much greater things. Great. Thank you, Sana. So, Shiny, I'm going to come back to you. So, Shiny, you are one of the leading sports nutritionists in India. I mean, if I were to Google sports nutrition, like your name shows up right there at the very top. Okay. So, two questions I want to know. So, one is, so when you started off your practice, did you position yourself as a sports nutritionist or a general nutritionist? And what was that tipping point, and when you actually thought, okay, fame came to you and it started becoming popular and people started reaching out to you?
Thanks for the kind words. See, the main thing is I did work in hospitals. So as soon as I graduated, I went to a multi-specialty cardio specialty hospital for 3 months. Then later Apollo Hospital in Chennai, where it was a multi-specialty. Then worked with a senior dietitian in Bangalore for 3 years. And that was preventive nutrition. So it was corporate consultation. So sitting in, and this was when the boom, the dot-com boom happened. So this was 99, 2000. So for close to 3 years, it was in the corporate sector. So I got to see what happens in hospitals, people really sick coming there, and then clinical nutrition. And again, in hospitals, as Richa mentioned, doctors will blast you for no reason, meaning you're the kindest doctor I've come across. So for no reason, I've got blasted, been insulted, all that has happened. So you never know who had miscommunicated certain things to the doctor, and then all that happened. And then later, of course, the corporate setup. The ambience would be awesome because it'll be, say, Philips, or else it could be Wipro, Infosys. So getting to see their offices was amazing, but there were a lot of health issues. Youngsters, like say 25, 26 years old, would have been highly stressed, and diabetes was there. So I learned a lot from Sheila Krishnaswamy ma'am, the ex-president of IDA. And 3 years working under her, I understood there's a lot more work to be done in the preventive sector. But then what had happened is back to Chennai, working in YMCA, and just trying to say, if you're trying to position yourself as a sports dietitian, clients weren't coming. Okay. And that was a huge challenge. So then what I did was take the concepts of sports nutrition. And since I also ended up working in fitness centers, use those concepts or principles to help people reverse metabolic issues. So non-communicable diseases. So that's when a whole bunch of PCOS, and then hypothyroidism, anything to do with hormonal issues, weight management, people trying to chisel their body for a fashion show or for a movie. So I ended up working with actors as well as bodybuilders or anyone who was in the fashion industry. They were getting ready for glad rags. So I had worked with some of those Femina Miss India, models, and the local scene, as well as someone who was going for the nationals as well. So this kind of work. So then if I were to sit with just the sports nutrition aspect, there weren't clients. So I'm talking about 99. very difficult at that point in time. So, and again, people who would come to YMCA would pay 100 rupees or say 300 rupees. And slowly it became 500 rupees. And you don't take home that much money. I remember taking, in a month, I would have earned like, say, 5,000. And then later I would do a lot of workshops and BPOs. So, and that's how I actually started saving some money and did the IOC course. And that was 3 lakhs. I didn't have that kind of money. My father said, I've saved money, but that's for your wedding. So it was just about like 14 hours of work, doing 2-3 different odd jobs, trying to ensure that I continued to be passionate about sports. I worked there, but then the money wasn't coming from that sector. But then do a lot of workshops in these kind of places, and also work with general clients, weight management. So I realized people trying to shed weight was a huge challenge. And taking these concepts really worked in my favor. So that is how it started initially.
Okay. Incredible. If I can summarize some of Shiny's learning. So now I was trying to relate it to the framework that I had shared with you. So I see that you did use the principle of reciprocity. You gave a lot of free stuff to people, did a lot of pro bono workshops and in communities, and that's how people got to know you. That's one. You did invest in training and certifications, right? Before positioning an expert. So very important again. And third was, you did have a niche, so you were passionate about the subject, but even though you could not find the right audience, you sort of adopted that approach to the general population. I mean, and that's something I'm learning new today from you, right? But most people would assume that you started off as a sports nutritionist, but the real story is that, you focused on weight management clients, applying the principles that you learned in sport nutrition. And with all the work that you were doing, I mean, the tipping point had to reach one way or the other. So now coming to the question, what exactly was that? Do you remember one, maybe an instant or maybe a celebrity client or something that maybe tipped it in your favor, or were there more than one?
Yes. I think this was way back in 2003 to 5 when I was working. So I met some of these movie directors. I love watching movies and a big fan of Mani Ratnam. And so somewhere in 2004 or 5, I was working for a sports physician in YMCA, a very popular doctor here in Chennai, Dr. Kannan Pugarendi. And Sir's clinic was inside the YMCA campus. So I met Maddie, that's Madhavan. I met Surya, he's again a very popular actor here, his brother Karthi, a whole bunch of people. And then I also met L. Balaji. I met cricketers from Tamil Nadu Cricket Association. And that is when I knew, okay, good. Okay, I'm going somewhere. So felt good. And then once I got a call from Dhanush, actor Dhanush. You must have seen Ranjana. So this was in 2006. So his wife had approached. So that's Rajnikant's daughter. And you know how Rajnikant is in South, right? Yeah. So I had done a consultation for them. And then later I also got a chance to meet, I can't mention, but then a few cricketers who were playing for the country. So that was amazing. So then I knew, okay, fine. So I've reached somewhere.
Sorry.
Yeah, nothing. Go ahead.
No, I think what's amazing about Shiny is that she has such humility that, I mean, I know people who see probably one actor or somewhere and they start calling themselves a celebrity nutritionist, but I have seldom seen Shiny do that. She wouldn't call herself a celebrity nutritionist. She is a nutritionist for the masses, right? Who also happens to see celebrities every now and then, I would say. But yeah, really, really admire your humility and so down to earth and, willing to give back to the community.
Thank you.
Okay, so Richa, now over to you. I'm going to change topics slightly over here. And since one thing we wanted to discuss today was frugal innovation, okay? And the concept that I shared, that you don't need to put in a lot of money upfront before you start a new venture. You can first acquire customers and then maybe build your product later. So Richa, I know you followed a similar approach when you were creating your autism aware nutritionist program, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about that? Did you get your customers first, or did you put in a lot of money? Like, how did you save money and the nitty-gritties of that? Yeah, over to you.
So autism was one area which I found that like while I was practicing in the hospital, a lot of patients used to get referred to me from the pediatrics also. And the doctors usually used to write GFCF diet. to be given to this child. And when I used to see the parents come in and the child coming in along, and I used to see their faces, that how difficult it is for them to manage a child on the spectrum to even sit for half an hour in front of me for the consultation. So that is where I realized that there is a lot in this area to do. It is not just the GFCF diet that will be helping them. So that was one thing. That is how I actually got interested in this spectrum, actually. So then I started reading about it, because we haven't studied autism in our colleges. We haven't, and any of the, I would say, intellectual disability disorders or any other neurodevelopmental disorder, we do not generally read about these things. I think at the most we read about cerebral palsy, that's it. Apart from that, we haven't read much about any of these neurodevelopmental disorders. So I started reading about it. I used to just read a lot, and used to collect researches and try to gain insights from there, and then try to just formulate it in the form of an easy to do things that can be done by the parents for children on the spectrum. So, which is again a difficult task. I cannot give them a complete diet chart because it will be a mess for them. I just have to give them some very small things that they can do on an everyday basis. Now, when even while we talk to nutritionists also, I generally see that even there is a huge gap in the understanding of autism, in terms of nutritionists don't actually know what autism is. That when they do not actually know what autism is, then how are they going to handle the people coming to them for autism consultation? So I thought that this is an area where we really need to get in, because nutrition plays a very important role in management of autism. We all know, and we have been hearing since ages, that if your gut is good, then overall body functioning gets improved. Okay, and similar thing is for autism also. A lot of things lie in the gut in the case of autism also. So if we have, even if by 20%, 30%, if we are able to enhance the nutritional status of the child, a lot of things get improved to a large extent. So I thought that this is a skill that dietitians, especially who want to work in a pediatric setting, should know, because the population of autism is increasing. By every year we see new data coming in, and we see that the population is rising. So this is definitely an area where people should think of. So when I started off, there was just a framework in my mind that I want to train the dietitians in these particular areas. Firstly, understanding. Secondly, what are the areas where nutrition can penetrate in terms of autism management? And thirdly, how to analyze that your intervention is showing benefit. So these were the three major areas where I wanted to formulate my entire course around. Now, to begin with, I did not have any funding for that. So I did not have any, collaboration at that point of time. So it was just an idea in my mind. And I thought I passionately wanted to come out with it, because I was seeing the things worsening every year. So I just had an idea that I have to do it. And one fine day, I just went ahead and announced that I am coming out with a course like this. And I started getting interests, a lot of queries from the nutritionists about the program. So then I realized that people are looking out for something like this. So approximately I got around, the very first day when I had sent out a teaser that something like this is going to come up, the very same day I got around 50 queries regarding the course. So I then after that I actually sat down to give a structure to the program, how I will be moving forward. Then I reached out to the experts, because my program, it is not something that I alone could run, because it is related with integrally related with neural health. So I wanted a neurologist to be there. I wanted an autism expert to be there. I wanted a gut expert to be there. I wanted a genetics expert to be there. So I reached out to people to collaborate with me for this program. So I have all the experts on the panel now, and I designed the 6 weeks program, and that's how it all started. So there was no initial I would say, investment. There was no initial layout, a set framework for that. But yes, after people started paying for the initial pre-registration, I had got around 6 pre-registration on the very first day when I opened up the registration. So after that, actually, I sat down and formulated the entire program. I took 1 month to formulate the program, and just we did the recordings, we did the lectures, we did the workshops, we did the live interactions with the participants. So that's how it went.
Great. Thank you, Richa, for sharing your journey. And I know how passionate you are about this. I remember those days, when we used to work together on the
Yeah,
creative. Like,
yeah.
I was never
And your
satisfied.
help was actually at a lot of points. I was like,
Yeah.
I was doubtful about it, that whether I should go ahead, because of course I hadn't done any such program in the past. So I was very doubtful whether is this the right approach, whether I'm doing it the right way. So Dr. Vishal was always there. He was always, whenever some creative of mine was out there. So the first person that I used to receive the message was from Dr. Vishal. He was always the first person to reply back to me, and just quoting, encouraging me, criticizing me, just pouring in suggestions. So all of these things have been very, very helpful to me in crafting the entire program. And now I'll be soon coming up with the 4th season of the program.
Great. Great. Thank you, Richa. So I think, one of the most powerful lessons that we learn from Richa's journey, and I want all of you to make a note of this. So Richa use this process for creating a training program for nutritionists, but you could apply the same process even for any program that you design for your clients. Okay. Whether it's weight loss client, PCOS. So you don't need to design a program first and then get clients. You can test the waters. Okay. So just send feelers out there. All you need is an ad, a creative. Just tell people, hey, I'm working on this program. Are you interested? People are willing to sign up even before you have created it. In fact, that's how we created NEP as well. Our first batch way back in 2016, we didn't have a single piece of content. The first 8 people who trusted us joined the program, and then we created the program later. Okay. So first get your clients and then build your product and service. Okay. That's the way going forward. Okay. And the good thing about that is you also get some capital. When people pre-register, they pay you, you can use that money to design the program. So on that note, I would like to jump to Sana. And Sana, I want to quickly hear from you. We are running out of time. We have about 10 minutes. You want to give some time to the questions as well. Did you use a similar approach for your 21-day challenge as well? And I know you also collaborated with a lot of people. So how did that work out?
Yes, sir. So I was doing the same thing. The trainers were actually coming up in between as well. So I was actually collaborating in between and working with the trainers, and everything was going together. So that is how I work. And collaboration was through friends first, and then people started knowing that we are doing something, and they then started coming up that even I want to join it. I want to do something as like the same sort, and then it's like the like minds, and it just started off like that.
Yeah.
So
And
yes,
I
sir.
believe you also able to use the momentum since you're collaborating with fitness trainers and yoga teachers. And so they were getting their clients as well to you.
As well, yes, sir.
Yeah. And
So
you
I
were
had
getting their clients to you
psychologists.
receiving. So this can
Yes, sir. So I had psychologists with us. I had physiotherapists. There were Zumba trainers, yoga trainers, everyone together. So I was getting all of their clients as well. And
fantastic.
actually, all the trainers require a nutritionist. So that is how I went like that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Great. So very powerful lesson for all of you. Collaborate. Don't just stay in a shell. Okay. Nutritionists, doctors, physiotherapists, counselors, yoga trainers, fitness trainers, yoga teachers. So all the allied health, do programs with them, do joint events, do Instagram lives, right? Quid pro quo. You give them clients, they'll give you clients. Okay. Great. So, guys, we have only 5 minutes left. I'm going to ask one last question to all of you. One common question. I'll give you some time to think about it. And I'm going to reveal the surprise before people decide to leave for dinner. So this last question is one you can think about it. So one is, so if you were to give one advice to all the freshers over here, right? What would that be? And maybe one mistake that you made that you don't want our community people to make. Okay, simple. And you can say that in maybe 2 or 3 sentences. So one mistake that you made in your life professionally that you don't want others to make. And second, what is one final hard-hitting advice that you want to leave with? So I'll give you a few minutes to think about your answer. In the meantime, I'm gonna just share the surprise for with you guys, for which you guys have been waiting for. So here it comes. So I have been telling you repeatedly about this thing that the webinar series that we've been doing, and the last webinar in the season, okay, is going to be this Sunday, okay, and it's going to be technology that wows, hacks every nutritionist should know. Okay, so in this webinar, I'm going to talk to you for the whole process of how do you go online, how do you create wow experiences online, and this is going to be the last webinar of the season. And then the break will be resuming in mid-August, September, around that time. Okay. So for all you guys who are present here, again, as there are only 100 seats, on about 20 seats, I think 15 seats have already been sold out. And we haven't started promoting it yet. Okay. And the fee for this is $699, but the first 100 people get it for $99. Okay. And the link for that is going to be shared in the WhatsApp chat. Just check, sorry, in the Zoom chat. So just click on that and just sign up for this if you're interested. Okay. And this is going to be on Sunday, and this is happening for the second time, because the last time we did it, we had about 350 registrations. It was I'd kept it free that time, but then the Zoom room was full. A lot of people could not join, and this time around, we are doing a repeat of that webinar, and we are just charging a nominal fee for this. And if we get more than 100, then we will upgrade the Zoom plan and we'll have a bigger room as well. Okay, but go ahead and just buy your ticket right now. The link is going to be shared in the Zoom chat. Okay, so technology that wows, hacks. So this is what you're going to learn. How do you overcome the fear of online consults and webinars? If you're doing an online event, how do you get maximum attendance? How do you create a wow experience, okay, in a meeting, whether it's virtual or in person? And I'm going to be sharing some technology tools and hacks and alternatives to PowerPoint. And lastly, how do you monetize your events? Okay, so it's one of our most popular webinars. Okay, so yeah, Ashna, have you shared the link, or do you want me to do it?
I've already shared it, sir.
You already shared? I don't
Yes.
see. Yeah, just share it again once more. Yeah. Okay, great. So that link is going to remain there. So don't leave the room, and you can register it later. Don't worry, no hurry. And because I'm really eager to hear some strong words, powerful words of wisdom from our panelists. Okay. So Richa, I'll let you go first.
My first advice to all the freshers who are about to start their work, or they are about to begin their startups, always remember that there is space for everyone. Do not be afraid of what other people are doing, what they have achieved, or what they will be attracting more clients than you. So someday you will be there too. So don't be afraid. There is space for you. There is space for me. There is space for Sana. There is space for Shiny Ma'am. There is space for everyone. Okay. So just be confident and work consistently towards it. The mistake that I wouldn't want you to do, which I probably did in the beginning of my career, is not to document your work. Always remember to document whatever kind of work you are doing. Every single smallest of the success stories, smallest of the achievements, smallest of the goals that you or your client achieves,
and mistakes,
document it.
and document the mistakes as well.
Yes.
So that you don't repeat them.
Yeah.
Brilliant advice. Thank you, Richa. That was great. Sana, over to you.
So the advice would be that never be afraid to take any risk. Even if they are failures, it will be a learning experience. So just try whatever you feel like doing and then learn from it. And the mistake which I made was, one, I did not documented anything. So there was no social proof of whatever I have done for the whole for like 4 or 5 years. Now I'm doing everything. I'm taking all the measurements. I'm taking everything, documenting everything. So that is one mistake I did. And I did not leave the comfort zone very like in the initial days. I just initial days. That is one mistake I did.
Okay. I think your voice got cut off, but I think Sana said that you need to come out of your comfort zone. Uh, I think it's my internet connection that's unstable. Hello? Yeah, are you able to
Yes,
hear?
sir.
Are you able to hear
Yes,
me?
sir.
Yeah. Okay. So not coming out of comfort zone and not only documenting your success stories and your mistakes, but also making sure that they go on your profiles, your social media profiles, your Instagram, Facebook reviews, Google reviews. Start collecting them right now from day one. Okay. We made the I made the same mistake as well. No, so our NEP Facebook page till for first 5 years had no reviews because I had selected that as a community organization, and communities don't have the review option. There was no review button for our Facebook page. So later on, I had to change the setting, and yeah. So great advice, Sana. Shiny, over to you.
Yeah. So I would wait for everything to be perfect and then get started. That was the biggest mistake I did. Even having a website and all that took a long time. I should have started my own clinic 10 years back.
Wow.
So recently, when I started my clinic, there were people who called and congratulated and said, "You should have done this 6 years back, 10 years back." I said, "Yeah, I know. It's just that I was so scared." So that's one. And next thing is be yourself. You could be good at, say, clinical nutrition or probably preventive health, or you could be a great writer, or you could be great at, say, mimicking or else things beautifully. And she does rap song, but it's all nutrition based. So each one of you is so special. So don't try to copy anyone. Just be your authentic self. And as Richa mentioned, there's so much of opportunity. All of us have a share in the pie. So you don't have to feel insecure at all, and share knowledge. Very, very important to share knowledge. Don't hold back, because we didn't invent anything. We got this from some book, some course, or somewhere online. So kindly share, and then the more, let's operate from law of abundance. Don't hold back information. If someone reaches out, share what you went through. You never know, you could help that one person, and that can completely change their life. So if you've read something, if you came across a fantastic website, podcast, anything, just share, put out information, and the universe will always come hold you back. You will also get some information, some support from somewhere when you badly need it. I strongly believe in this. Thank you. Thank you, doctor. And for all of you here, please enroll for NEP. Trust me, I did this just recently. Uh, my former assistant, Rachel, kept telling me, she asked me for the past 4 years, she's been asking me to do the course. I kept delaying it. That is the biggest mistake I did. I should have done this long back. And I gained a lot of knowledge by doing the NEP course. I would recommend each and everyone here, whoever hasn't done, please enroll. Don't even think twice.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shiny. Thank you for being an
I will
evangelist.
I will second Shiny ma'am on that. It is absolutely one course that probably that takes your practice notches high up. So it is definitely one essential course that you should be doing if you really want to go ahead and project yourself as a nutritionist. The second one that I would say is DMC. DMC. We are now it's the digital era. We have to project our workout, so we have to good at certain things. How to project your workout there. So if you are good at projecting your workout, so people will be attracted towards what you are doing, and it's the more people you attract, it's the funnel concept. At least you will get some good clients from there. So try and enroll for DMC as well if that is
One of the reasons
your
why
budget.
we all get along so well, and I think the reason why Shiny also is a member of our community is because our values are so much similar. We all believe at NEP, we strongly believe is that um, believe in collaboration and cooperation versus competition. Okay, there's already so much competition in this world. People like backstabbing each other, and there is so much. The pie is really big that there is enough for everyone. Okay, and there are so many problems to solve in this world, just in India alone, right? That you need not be competing with each other. And the more you give back, the more you're going to get. Okay. And that's the fundamental principle of NEP. I think if you were to ask me, what's the number one principle or value or ideology on which NEP was founded, it's giving back to the community. Number one, everything else is secondary, right? And that's why we take so much effort to reach out to nutritionists, so do spread the word, tell your friends. Next webinar, bring your friends along with you. Once a year we do the summit as well. There's so much happening, right? And even for those of you who feel you're not right now, you're not prepared to do the flagship program, you can do our webinars, right? Do the Sunday webinar at least. That's going to be fun. And for those of you who feel, okay, you've reached a stage in your career where you need mentorship, guidance, support, right? I would highly recommend you do the flagship program. Cycle is going to start August 15th. And the last date is July 10th. Okay. This Sunday is the last date. Okay. And you already got about 70, 80 applications. Okay. So I see there were a few questions. I'm sorry we won't be able to take all, but there was one question that stood out, and I think it was by Ramya. She said that she's taken a break from a career, and so how do I get started, right? And I see Shiny, you also answered her question, replied to her. So Ramya, a quick the answer for you is that we have conducted a 90-minute webinar on just this topic. How do you come back, or sorry, how do you get back into practice after you've taken a break? Okay. And a lot of women take break, especially after marriage or when they have a baby, right? And so we had 3 nutrition entrepreneurs from our community who had gone through that struggle, and they have shared their experiences. Okay. So reach out to me. I'll share the recording of that webinar with you. Okay. I think the webinar is also freely available. We have put it up on our platform. I think you just download our app and maybe you'll find it there. Okay. If you don't find it, I'll send you the recording. So we have so much content out there. And sometimes, I see these questions in the chat box and I'm like, gosh, that's a question that I can answer in 90 minutes. But our 90 minutes for today are done. And I hope this was a valuable experience for all of you. So thank you so much for joining in. And thank you so much, panelists, Shiny, Richa, and Sana. It was wonderful having you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure was all ours, Dr. Vishal, and especially sharing the screen with Shiny Ma'am was a pleasure for me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Ashna, can you please put the link, both the links in the Zoom chat so that people who have missed it, they can sign up for it. The Sunday webinar, please share the link. And I'm going to keep this meeting on for another few minutes so that you can just click on the link. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.